Hello, 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 everybody. This is Tanika Steens, and this is Mind Your Business. And tonight, my guest is Maggie PEROTIN. She helps service based women entrepreneurs attract consistently paying clients without the overwhelm. Through her coaching model, she helps her clients align their mindset, business skills, and high performance habits to transform their business from unreliable source of income to a client attracting gem. Maggie is a very sweet, conscious minded young lady, and she loves to help business women, and she is very strategic in her planning. And so I am glad that she is my guest tonight, and she is going to help us in our entrepreneurial world be more successful with the tips that she's going to give us. So without any further ado, Maggie, would you please welcome yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah, thank you, Tanika. Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. Thank you for calling me a young lady. It's been a while. So many call me. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. As Tanika said, I'm a business and leadership coach, and I help mostly women service-based entrepreneurs grow their businesses without overwhelm. I'm not going to repeat what you said, but you know why I do it. Um, I do it because I'm passionate about empowering women and helping them be successful through their businesses. Because I really think, as everybody, all of us are leaders. But so far, leadership has been defined a lot by men. No offense to men that are watching, and we haven't been in leadership position as much as women or for as long. So I want to empower as many women as possible to feel like leaders, to be successful in business, so we have our voice there and we slowly bring sort of balance and redefine about what leadership means. So that's my mission. That's why I do it.
Absolutely. And just looking at you, we can tell that you have always been successful and powerful in what you do. That's correct, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's correct. It's hard to say if everybody, but I think us, everybody, we're all successful. We just need to believe in ourselves more and
Yeah.
then go with our dreams, go after what we feel deep inside we can do. And yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one part of us. I think we all have leadership qualities inside of
Mhm.
us. We just don't know how to tap into them. So
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about how you help your clients tap into those leadership qualities?
Yes, definitely. So, leadership qualities, or as I call them, they're skills, and they can definitely be learned. And it comes with practice. And definitely, as I say, we're all leaders because the first person or the first thing we need to lead is ourselves. And when we can lead ourselves, then we can lead others. And whether it's our family or community or business or employees, it doesn't matter. There's many ways to lead, or even our following on social media, right, as entrepreneurs. Um, so how I do it, I really start there, help my clients understand that they have the courage, they have what it takes to do the work and be successful in their business, and that to do that they need to push themselves out of the comfort zone. So I create that space to help them slowly get used to going out of that comfort zone and you know kind of growing and having breakthrough, small breakthrough after breakthrough, and build up the confidence with it. Because the confidence, really, we can just grow through action, and then we need a little bit of courage to do action. And through that, trust themselves, build that self-trust, where very often it's probably the promises that we bring, the easiest is the one we make to ourselves, right? Like, very often, if we commit to our best friends or to people we care about, we would never break a promise, or never, very rarely. Whereas things that we tell ourselves we'll do, it's much easier to say, well, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. But once we start learning that when I do the things I say I'm going to do for myself, I'm actually building trust in myself. And when I build trust in myself, then I can lead myself, because then I know, okay, if I say I'm achieving that, if I say I'll do it, I'll do it. Right. And the
Absolutely.
confidence grows and so on. And from that, you can branch into other leadership skills, or communication, public speaking, listening is one of them, social interaction, awareness of others, and, leading them. So,
Yeah. And everything you just discussed was all about communication. And I
mhm,
think one of the biggest things that you spoke on was trust. And it's very hard to trust others when we don't necessarily trust ourselves.
exactly.
So, can you tell us about a time that you were at a point where you had this breakthrough, when this became a passion for you, when you started to trust yourself and knew that this is what you wanted to do?
Yeah. So actually, that time happened. There's always those breakthroughs, not always, but sometimes they come, through others and us realizing, and sometimes they go through events in our lives. And I'm the example of, when something happened in my life and it kind of got me thinking. So as you know, but probably the audience doesn't know, I have a background and experience in the corporate world, and about 4 years ago now, I was in a role that we went through like a very tough time. The company acquired some big contracts, and we had to implement them. We didn't get much help, and of course we had a job already before those contracts came in. And I found myself working pretty much nonstop, like Saturdays, Sundays, every day, 15, 16 hours without a break for months on end. My kids were little. And I went to the point when I was almost burnt out. I didn't end up in a hospital or anything like that, but I was at my end wits saying, like, what am I doing, right? This is ridiculous. I'm exhausted. There's no light in the tunnel. The help is not coming. You have to do something outside of just asking for help that wasn't coming. So that kind of pushed me really to think about me and my life and what am I doing. And the first step I did is actually I signed up for high performance coaching, and through that I learned not only, high performance is not just about time management or organizing your days, your week well, which part of it is, but it's also establishing boundaries in your life and saying, well, I am a human being. I need to take care of myself. There is different aspects to my life. There's family, there's my body, there's my mind, right? There is relationships and so on. And yes, there's work. So as I was starting to establish those boundaries, then I started asking myself, well, what do I want to do? What am I passionate about? And that's where the business idea came in, because I'm passionate about helping people be better and, fulfill themselves and really reach their full potential. And because I have all the skills in the business, I kind of merged it together. And that's, how the Stairway to Leadership was born.
Absolutely. So, what type of mindset does it take to get to that point?
It definitely starts with self-reflection, right? As to what is it that I really want to do with my life. In my life, like I was at the point when I was almost 40, and it actually made me realize that, sometimes we think like, oh, I'm 40 and it goes downhill from there, right? I should be preparing for my retirement. But when I think about that, I thought about it, I'm like, no, well, I started working out of universities. Like, I had odd jobs through university, but let's say like real jobs. So I was 24. So I'm like, okay, you've been working only for 16 years in the workforce. You're probably going to be working till you're 70. You have another 30. You have double that. Do you want to be doing what you have been doing, or do you want something else, right? So digging deep and understanding what is it that or what I want. So that's the first thing. And then when you're clear on, and it doesn't have to be exactly what you want, but what impact do I want? Like, how do I want to lead my life, and what will allow me to do that? Then it takes a bit of courage to actually start implementing it, because it can get very overwhelming quickly. Well, I'm not there. My dream life is this and I'm not there. And oh my God, how am I going to get there? And our primitive brain is perfectly wired to talk us out of those things, like, oh, it's going to take too long and you're going to fail. And what about this? And what people will think? And what if you don't succeed? And so on. So there's all those thoughts. So it takes a bit of courage just to start taking one step at a time. And then once you do that, then, one things lead to the other, door opens and so on. And, you're if you're committed, if you're really, really committed to that outcome, you slowly get there.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I really love about doing this podcast is real people that are authentic and genuine in telling their truths. Because a lot of times people look at us and say, "Oh, well, you've already got it, and you've done this." And no, everybody has a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has that scared time when you go. I thought about it. We went to the beach this weekend, and the water looks so pretty, and it just like you see the sun glimmering on it, and you go to step in, and it's freezing cold. You can't just dive in. You want to, but you cannot. You have to dip your toe in, and you have to get used to the water. And then, you have to take one foot at a time until you can get a little bit more used to the water. And that's like how taking a step in business is to me. You can't just dive in.
Yeah.
You've got to come up to an ideal. So you've got to see the beach. You got to visualize it first, right?
Yes.
And then you've got to go to it, right?
Yes.
It's not going to come to you. You've got to go to it. But once you get there, and then you see all this vast water, and then you see all this stuff going on, and it looks like it's overwhelming. And now you've got to dive in. And it's like, so do you just dive in head first? Or do you jump in feet first? Or what do you do? No, sometimes you got to slow walk in. And then that can be so scary. And it can cause you to have anxiety. So let's talk about the importance of having someone to coach you into that and how you help people with that.
You know what? It helps so much. And it's funny because I'm a business coach. And at first I thought, well, wow, I'm supposed to know everything, right? We were scared to ask for help. And maybe especially as women, and I was raised to like, you got to figure it out on your own, right? There's nobody. And I was trying, but it was scary and I wasn't sure. And it was taking me long. And then that's the thing, the overwhelm comes in. I'm like, no, there must be somebody who already figured certain things out and faster. And the moment I invested in coach, again, one of the best decisions I've made in my life. There was a couple others, but that was one, because even having that comfort that you have somebody to walk you through things, that you can meet with somebody every week. And the thing is that, again, like when you enter, and again, whether it's an entrepreneurship, whether it's some other new thing in your life, you need to force your brain to start thinking and doing new things. And it doesn't like it because it takes a lot of energy. And as human beings, we like to be in our comfort zone and so on. So you can start, but to create momentum and consistency, it takes a lot of effort. And very often that the negative kind of critic just saying, what are you doing? You have to do this, 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 and this, and you get overwhelmed. And it's easy to come back to your old pattern saying, well, maybe I'm not meant for it, right? So coaching, that weekly kind of reminder, no, you can do it. Let's create a simple plan. This is how you can do it, giving you different perspectives and it's kind of like putting you in your higher self, putting you back to this person that believes you can get there and so on, gives you that motivation, energy for the next week and the next week. And that's how you progress and you progress and you progress. If you think about it, all the Olympic athletes, right? All the professional athletes, the actors, they all have coaches. Why? Because they would not be able to push themselves as far as they are without them. Right? Because that's just natural. That's as human beings. That's, we like our comfort zone. And it's just normal.
Yeah, and I think so, because I believe behind every successful person, there is a coach there that has pushed them to the limit. And sometimes you feel like I'm going to break, but no, you're not. Us as humans, we have this innate ability to do things that we don't even know that we're capable of doing because we won't push ourselves. But when someone else challenges us to do something, we might get mad or we might get frustrated. But once you do it and you achieve that success, you're like, wow, I am capable.
Yeah.
and just having someone there as a support system, just guiding you through. And they're not there to beat you up; they're there to cheer you on and to
Hmm.
show you that, hey, it's
Yeah.
possible. You can do it. And most of the time, the people that you coach are you. And most of the
Mhm.
time, the people that need coached are people that are like you. And so you have something that's in common because you've been where they're at and
Mhm.
you can take them where they're trying to go. And
Yeah.
so it's so important. So talk about what you do on your live, when you go live and you share your tips and your information with
Mhm.
people. How do you help them that way?
Yeah, I would do that. But one more thing, because it's like I
Okay.
just want to add to what you were saying, and that's exactly what it is. Because especially in the beginning, when we start, as I said, like we don't have the confidence yet that we can do it because we haven't seen the results and so on, right? And confidence is built through action. So our coaches, right, or us as coaches, we actually believe in you. We're confident you can get it. So you can borrow that confidence in the beginning until you build your own. And I think, and I don't remember if it was Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali or maybe both, but one of them was saying that that was exactly it. They became really good, athletes because there was a coach who believed in them where they didn't have that self belief yet. And that got them through that initial training and momentum to get to the point where, okay, yeah, I'm really good at what I'm doing and I'm believing in myself, right?
Hmm.
So that's I wanted to say that. Um, so my lives, okay. So I do a couple my motivational Monday. So I do a quick live on Monday. Just I pick a topic, like usually about mindset, and I want to motivate any entrepreneur for the week, so they're set and so on. And I do it in my group, women entrepreneurs with passion for life, but I also do it on my Instagram account, so anybody can watch it, no problem, on Instagram. And then I do either a training every other week in my group, or sometimes I do challenges and trainings. And there was one that I ran not that long ago. It was called the Diamond Effect: Turn Your Business into a Client Attracting Gem. And for 5 days, a lot of it was mindset, but also planning and creating a step-by-step plan as to how am I gonna, what am I gonna do with my business, where do I want to take it. And so I ran that challenge a couple of weeks ago, but I'm turning it into a free training. So I'm happy to share with anybody who wants it.
Cool, cool. So what kind of tips could you share tonight? Just like some little gems that you could drop with anyone that is right on the brink of wanting to get started, but really don't know which direction to go.
Okay, so the first thing I said, like, and do you mean like overall or in your business?
Just overall.
Overall. So if you think about it this way, create a goal for yourself. So what do you want, right? We need to be clear, because there is this, I think it's an Alice in Wonderland. There's Alice talks to the cat, and she's like, oh, can you show me the way? And the cat says, well, where do you want to go? She's like, oh, I don't know. Then anyway, it's a good way, right? If you don't know where you're going, no matter what road or your path you choose, it's a good one because you don't know. So know what you where you want to go, like what is your destination. And then, because very often when we think about that destination, it's far because our goal is big, hairy, and audacious, then it's easy to get overwhelmed. So in order not to get overwhelmed, think about what is the first step I can do, the smallest step that when I think about it, it's like, you know what, I can do it. It doesn't feel overwhelming. So for example, if you're thinking, okay, I want to start a business, and maybe I want to start, I don't know, in the US, stuff is opening, but let's just say I want to start a cafe. But I've never run a cafe. I have no idea. I just like cafes. I want to go, right? So instead of thinking like, oh my God, I need to find the building and what do I need? Maybe finding a part-time job in a cafe to understand what it takes to run a cafe is the first step, right? Just like a couple of hours on the weekend and so on. And then you can realize, yep, that's totally what I want to do. And you can learn while actually making money, right? Or you might realize, you know what, that's totally not for me because I need to get up early and I need to be open on the weekends and I need to be open and so on, right? So I would say those are like find the smallest steps you can do towards that goal.
Yeah, I think goal setting is very important when it comes to doing anything. And a lot of
Mhm.
times, I know when clients come to me, it's so funny because they'll come and they'll go, "Well, I don't really need a coach," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," because they'll call or they'll want their free consultation and they'll ask all these questions, and so it always turns to like a coaching scenario, and then they
Yeah.
go, "Well, I don't really want a coach. That's not," and I go, "But you want to go somewhere, but you don't know how to
Yeah.
get there. They want the end
Mhm.
result, but they don't want to go through the process." And so, in
Mhm.
any situation, there's always a process that you have to go through.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, you have to start, and having clear, precise goals is the first thing. And like you said, what if you don't know where you want to go, any path you take is going to be, it's going to get you somewhere. It may
Mhm.
not be where you want to be, but if you take any path, you're going to get somewhere. And so you've got to be clear, and and having a coach, I think, helps you to have a better understanding.
Yes.
Because like you said, oh, I want to run a cafe, and it looks cute that this cafe is up and running, and you see the people and you see all this stuff
Yeah.
going on. But what does it take to get
Mhm.
to that point?
Mhm.
You know, people
Mhm.
always see the other side of things, but they don't see the process of what it
Yeah.
takes to
Yeah.
actually go through those things. And
Yeah.
so, but when you, what most of your clients that you have, are they usually at a beginning stage? Are they usually already in business, or what type of clients do you work with?
So I have both. So in a way, my clients who are in the beginning, or either they're starting, or maybe they've run their business more as a hobby and they want to get serious about it, or they had it part time and now they want to move full time, right? They have a job, they want to quit the job, and so on. So those clients who are somewhat in the beginning as far as income goes and they want to grow it, then I usually do like I have a group program that's because I find that not only the clients learn better, they can see that, oh, like there's other people that are going through the same way as me. It's like being a new parent. You think that you're the only one in the world having issues with your kids, and then you talk to other parents and you're like, oh, I'm not alone, and it feels better, right? And then for clients who are maybe more established and now want to scale and want to maybe hire people or whatever the case might be, right? We figure out with every client how they want to go about it, scale. Then I do one-on-one
Yeah,
coaching.
it's funny. My husband's watching, and he said, you something you spoke on earlier. He said, "Absolutely, Maggie. Our brain is designed to keep us safe, no matter what. And when something
Yes.
seems difficult to us, we tend to shut down."
Yeah.
What do you tell your clients in that situation? Because a lot of times they feel like, well, it's just happening to me, and like you said, it's not. Everybody has got something that they're going through. But how do you comfort your client in that situation?
So one is showing them, if they're not in a group situation, giving them a story, whether it's from me or other clients, that this is normal. As Frank, your husband says, like that's how we're designed. And also showing them, and so this is our primitive brain, and our primitive brain runs us probably 96% of the time, right? So those are our habits that we're not aware of. Sometimes we're just running, it's kind of a bit subconscious. And then we have the neocortex, so the frontal brain, like our human brain, what makes us human, right? The one that can be logical, that can create, the one that actually have dreams, and we can activate it, but it has to be intentional. This brain doesn't work unintentionally, right? So that's when the coaching comes in, because then we talk about it, we logically understand, and logically usually those fears do not make sense. So once the client understands that, I give different perspectives, they're like, yeah, you're right, okay, let's go and do it, right? And they do it, they get into that, let's say I meet with them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're fine, and then subconscious brain takes over, right? So as coaches, what we do, we help you almost like rewire or upgrade your subconscious brain, so then it goes to the level of your conscious brain, and then they work in common, and that's how you start getting momentum and getting more and more results. But it has to be done on a regular basis, because otherwise it's just that's exactly, we're designed to sort of conserve energy, And it takes time for the new way of thinking or new habits become subconscious.
Yes, yes. So I know that a lot of times, again, when you are in a position of leadership and you look like success and you seem to have it all together, and your clients just look at you and feel like, well, you're already there and I'm here. Can you talk about what that looks like to have those days when there
Mhm.
are struggles and there are days when you feel like, you know what, I don't know
Mhm.
if I'm going to be able to push through. Can you talk about what that looks like?
Yeah, we all have them. I have them too, my doubts. So, for me is there's two things. One, I do like through high performance and the habits I've developed, I definitely I'm aware when those things come, right? When the day comes in, and it doesn't happen to me as often as it used to because I have my mindset hygiene where, I have a morning routine that grounds me and so on. I use meditation, I journal and so on. So, before I developed those habits, that was like a common thing. Very often I was going and up and down in the rut and it took me like, days to get myself out of it. As I established the habit and it became really like more and more prevalent, it doesn't happen to me as often and it takes me much faster to get out. But when that happens, first of all, I sort of acknowledge it and let myself be, right? Because the problem is when we resist emotions, it will just come up stronger somewhere else, right? And that's not easy. I still sometimes like automatically try to resist it, right? Like, but when I become aware, just sit with it a little bit and be okay with that. Again, we're human, right? Like we have the right to feel crappy and we have the right to be sorry for ourselves. And then when I let that, after some time, I kick myself in the butt and I say, hey, Maggie, okay, like, stop, stop feeling sorry for yourself. And sometimes, sometimes I go to my coach, I talk to my husband or my friends, or I do something that brings me joy. Just, I love nature. I love hiking. That always, kind of clears my brain. So I do those things. So I have a few things that I go to when I'm, allow myself to sit with emotions and I'm kind of okay with them. And now if they don't pass, I'm really ready to move on. Then, again, depending on the day, I have a few things that I go to that I do. And either it's a chat with, with my coach or with my husband or somebody close, or just doing things that I know will bring me joy and so on, which, going outside or taking a bath or whatever.
Absolutely.
Dancing.
I love the way that you share that because it's important. And again, that all goes back with communication, communicating with yourself, communicating with others, and being in tune and being in present with your feelings and your emotions. You don't have
Mhm.
to necessarily accept those emotions and set in
Mhm.
them, but you do need to acknowledge them. And I think
Mhm.
so many of us don't want to acknowledge those emotions because we
Mhm.
feel like, oh, well, somebody's going to think something's wrong with me or
Mhm.
somebody's going to call me this. And especially with this whole last year with the pandemic,
Yeah.
a lot of people have been through stress and through mental anxiety. And
Mhm.
so with jobs and you
Mhm.
know getting forced out of jobs and maybe looking for new directions and sitting there and just having an overwhelming flood of emotions overcome
Mhm.
them and not knowing how to acknowledge them and
Mhm.
saying, you know what that is. And I see what it is, but I need to move past it. And
Yeah.
instead, they continue to let those emotions pile up. And before you know it, it starts to weigh on them and then they're stuck. And
Mhm.
so it's harder to get unstuck,
Mhm.
than to say, you know what, I need to talk to somebody. And I think that that is the biggest thing. If we would learn how to reach out and ask for help, it's
Mhm.
okay. It's okay to ask for help because I say it all the time, coaches need coaches. And
Mhm.
I'm in ministry and I tell my therapist all the time, I'm like, he goes, Sneaky, you're not gonna have to come here forever. I'm like, yes, I am. I said, I come here because, my family, I love having conversations with my family. But the conversations I have with you, I don't want to have those conversations with
Yeah.
my family
Yeah.
because I don't
Yeah.
need to pour that stuff on them.
Yeah.
And especially in ministry, after I've dealt with so many things and people calling and want me to pray and thinking I have some kind of direct contact to God that they don't have, I'm like, I need to unravel somewhere, but people don't get that. And even my therapist, he needs a therapist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everybody needs
yeah,
somebody that
yeah.
they can unwind on,
Mhm.
because if not, we start to self damage instead of self care.
Yeah.
And I think having someone to talk to, having that coach, having that support system helps you to better manage yourself and have better self care. So
Yeah.
I applaud you for what you do for women. Not that you just cater necessarily to women, but
Mhm.
I like in the beginning what you said, that this business thing has been like a male dominated field for so long, and women have felt like the underdogs in that situation, and just letting us know that we do have a voice, and we do have a way of escape, and we can communicate, and our voices can be heard, and you are out there on the forefront leading the way. That is something to be commended, and so good for you.
Thank
I, I thank you for sharing that, and for standing up for women and coming to the forefront, because just because you stood up, it shows other women that they can stand up as well. So can you tell people where you're from?
Yes, so I'm originally from Poland. So I was born and raised in Poland, but I immigrated to Canada in 2005. I live in the Greater Toronto area and metropolitan area. So now I'm Canadian in Poland.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we are connected. And I think, again,
Yeah.
communication is that one thing that connects us, because you're in Canada, I'm in Indiana. And so
Mhm.
now I think we're on the same time zone. But just imagine if it wasn't for this great thing that we have called the internet,
Mhm.
we wouldn't even
Mhm.
know each other. Like 20
Yeah.
years ago, we may not have met in this capacity. But
Yeah.
now we have such a way to engage one another and to
Mhm.
reach out. There's no reason why everybody can't find some source of help
Yeah.
or a way to reach out and figure out how to get to the next level. So
Yeah. It's,
go ahead. What else is
no,
it that
sorry.
you
I
would
just wanted to say that it's very true. I have clients in North America and Canada and US. I have clients in Europe, and like even being an immigrant, it allows me, like the technology allows me to stay connected with my family as well.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And see, I think women, we have it tough on so many levels, because as women, we're already a minority. And so you said something, that you're an immigrant. I am a Black woman. And
Mhm.
so we're double minorities in that aspect. And we're two women sitting here on
Mhm.
this show who are coaches, who are showing people that, hey, there is a way and an opportunity. So
Mhm.
no matter who you are, no matter what walk of life, no matter where you come from,
Mhm.
there is a piece of the pie for everybody.
Yes.
So, and we've established that, correct?
Yes. There is. It's all about, and that's the thing, right? We've been programmed or taught that there isn't enough for everybody and that there is this competition of thing. No offense, but that was the male understanding of business. John Smith, I think he was British, and then Darwin was British and all that, right? But at the same time, and there's this book, which is an amazing book, and now I'm forgetting, written by a woman, The Soul of Money. Yes, the title is The Soul of Money, and I don't remember. And she was her like in charity, and she raised millions and millions of dollars for hunger projects, so to end world hunger. And she dealt with people, who are super wealthy and with the poorest people on earth. And the book is about how actually there is enough for everybody, and the even in nature, yes, there is this competition and the survival of the strongest, but there is a lot of examples where there is symbiosis and coexistence of species and one helping each other, and there is enough for everybody, right? So I love that, because it's true, that concept, right? And that concept doesn't exist as much yet in business. And I think as women, we have that because we're nurturers, because we're all about families and making sure that everybody's taken care of. And I think, yes, we do have a voice and the way we think about the business and leadership, and we need to bring that even more forward.
Yeah, I think we like to share. I think that's
Mhm.
what it is. We like to
Mhm.
share, and we're more open to feeling like you're not taking anything away from me,
Mhm.
and we can all grow together if we help each other. And that's how I feel. And I mean, I appreciate the fact that we were able to connect and to share with one another. I mean, from the very first conversation that we had, and we were able to share, and then just being able to engage in your group and to see the knowledge that you share. It's like it's very eye opening because we can learn from anyone. And
Mhm.
so I commend you again for what you do. I thank you for
Thank
coming on and sharing your knowledge. What else would you like to leave the audience with, or would you like to share before we jump off of here?
you. One thing, what I want to say is just again that, like, the dreams we have in us, we can achieve them, because if we couldn't, we wouldn't have those dreams, right? We don't think about something that's not in even our consciousness. So being, having that courage and taking the first step slowly and asking for help, it's actually, that's where it takes you there, and you can totally do it. And I think, like, one thing that I want to say is, just like you, Tanika, I think I will always have a coach, because I'm just enjoying the journey and the growth I'm going through, that I wouldn't have gone this much without them. So, that's what I want to leave. And then if anybody wants to connect with me and just have a chat, whether it's on social media or, on whatever in person, I'm always open to
Yeah.
having chats.
So how do they get in contact with you, Maggie, so they can work with you?
So the best way is through my website. So it's www.stairwaytoleadership.com. It's one word, stairwaytoleadership.com. And there you can find my email, my social media. So if you want to follow me on social media or join the group, everything is on the website.
Okay, let's see if I've got that spelled
Great.
correctly. Is
Perfect.
that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
www.stairwaytoleadership.com. Maggie, I thank you again for joining us tonight. And anyone that tuned in, if you'd like to know more about business and leadership coaching, Maggie is very fluent in that. She is very sweet with helping you as well. She's kind and she's patient, and she enjoys doing what she does. See, a lot of times people do things because they just want to get paid, but other people do things because they have a passion, and this is what their joy is. And so when you can do something that brings you joy and brings you light and brings you laughter, that's what's meaningful. And so when you can work with a coach that brings that to the table, then you've got a win-win situation. So if you are looking for someone that you can work with that is dedicated to what they do and is dedicated to helping you, then I would say go ahead and reach out to Maggie and see where you guys can go on this journey together. And even if you don't have a clue where you're going, maybe she can help you set some goals and get headed in the right direction. Other than that, just pick a place and just go wherever you want to go. But I can guarantee you, you're going to probably end up right where you started. But thank you, everybody, for joining in. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you'd like to know more about this show, or if you would like to be a guest, you can go to www.yourfullmindlife.com and send us a contact sheet and let us know about your story or any shows that you would like to do or any information that you would like to share. We'd love to have you on. And again, this is Mind Your Business, Mindful Intentions, Nurture and Drive Your Business. So remember, never forget, you were created with a purpose. So go ahead and be great. God bless you and have a good evening. Thank you.
You
Maggie, hang out with me just for a second while we